There we go. All right, let's do
Sure.
it. I don't know all technology, but just the stuff that I use for this, I got it down finally.
Yeah, you're doing a lot better than I am, buddy. I'm impressed. Well done.
All right, recording. All right, hello everybody. Welcome to another episode of Enlightened Conversations. Excited for today's episode, and it's tonight for me, but the next day is already the new week for our guest. We have James Ross out in Perth, Australia. I was just telling James that that's probably the longest flight I've ever taken. In fact, I know that's the longest flight I've taken from Miami over there. And it's beautiful where he is. And I discovered James on Instagram last week and saw the love and light he was sharing with his audience. James is a spiritual teacher, and on his Instagram page says "lover of the universe." I think that's what I'm pretty sure. I just popped into my mind just now. Yep, that's what it says.
That's it, buddy.
So excited to introduce you guys to James. And without further ado, for me, James, you could share the audience so they're more familiar with you, who you are, what you do, why you do it, any of these good things.
Yeah, my story is quite an interesting one, and I really don't like to pinpoint myself into a specific category. I do everything. I'm an entrepreneur. Like you say, I love the universe with all my heart. I try to be a better person every day. You know, I've now got the modality of doing a lot of healing work that I tend to do each night on souls that come and see me. So I'm just encompassing whatever the universe gives me in that particular time, you know, and that's basically who I am. So I just wake up each morning and I just want to be a better version of me, you know, and that's ultimately what I tell people I do is I work on myself, and hopefully if that can help others, well then beautiful.
I love it. I love it. And I don't know how I didn't tune into this right when you popped on, but your shirt is awesome. I just saw it. I was like, oh, what an awesome. As soon as you
Well,
started talking.
this is something that we're just creating at the moment. I'm just creating a new venture called High Vibe Tribe, and it's bringing the community together, so it becomes a one-stop shop where we can see people like yourself and thought leaders and healers and different modalities, so they can actually come to one specific place and find what they need for their journey as they progress, you know. And I just don't think I've seen a lot of sites out there where you can actually do that. So that came to me just recently, actually, doing a medicine ceremony, and it was like, you know, you've got to create this community that where people can just come as a collective, but then find what they need and then go out with that, you know. And be love is what we're all about, right? So that was my first T-shirt design.
I love it, James. And neither of us were aware of this, but what you just described, I can already see some partnership with our tribes, because I look at life as the same thing. I always look at every person, just because knowing that we're all just different expressions of the same energy. You know, whether someone out there wants to call that God, force energy, or source energy, or spirit, or whatever they want to call it, but that's us. And so that knowing that, I know that, you know, each one of us are having different life experience here, so we're different expressions of it. So that lets me know that I could pick up some new awareness, some new consciousness from anyone at any time if I'm open to it. And that's why I like to co-create and collaborate so much, because I've only had just Noel's life experience.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, you getting in touch with myself, you know, just a couple of days ago, the energy was right. It was perfect. It was divinely perfect. You know, the universe set this up at the most perfect time. And what we have to do is just get out of the way of us trying to control things. You know, that I was actually in my office at the time when I got your message, and it was like, oh, this is beautiful. And I'd never seen your page before either. And I went on there and I was like, this is fantastic, you know, and here we are having a conversation and developing a friendship, you know, and like you say, I am you, you are me, and it's just that old illusion, helping each other, walking home.
I love that. I love that. Yeah, that's what I'm most thankful for the technology that we have in 2020. Is this what we're doing right now wouldn't have been possible even 10 years
No.
ago. So
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
just
So there is some good points to all this, isn't there? You know,
it's true.
We tend to sometimes see the negative side of what, you know, social and technology can do, but there's also some beautiful sides, you know, where we can reach audiences where we could never ever have thought we could reach, you know.
Absolutely, absolutely. I have a question for you, James, because I always, whenever I'm having these conversations and I'm, playing with other human beings and these awesome energies, because we're just enjoying speaking to each other, but also empowering the audience. People are seeing the right now version of us, which is truly all that exists for any of us. But I always think it's
Yeah.
interesting for people to see the humanity of how all of our journeys typically evolve from unconditional loving little baby as we all came here, and then for a lot of us forget along the way who we truly are, maybe start comparing ourselves
Yes,
to
yeah.
other humans, maybe wondering if we're enough, or thinking that we're separate, and all these things. And then it's my hope and big reason that all of us do what we do is to help the light bulb come back on so we can remember. How did that journey look for you? Or I say this almost jokingly to people because people always laugh. Or did you go from unconditional loving little baby to who you are now, never forgotten, just evolution all along the way?
Sit down, get yourself a cup of tea. Yeah, look, I'm not originally from Australia. I was born in the UK. 42 years ago right now, and yeah, the background that I was born into, or what I chose for my journey, was very tough. I was born into a very working class environment. I was born into I would say a loving family, but different kinds of love, if you know what I mean. It's not the love that I would show my boys. My dad was a big, tough, strong man, and that's how he kind of loved. He would never say to me, you know what, I love you. He would never come out with that, but he did different things in his way where he would show me that love. I had a mother that was trying to find herself within, when I look back now and view my childhood, she was trying to find herself within my childhood, so again, she was definitely on her own path. So I kind of was, coming into this center of actually living myself very quickly on when I knew what love was. I was always very gentle. I was always very soft. I was always very much connected to, at the time, it was always Jesus. It was God. It was, that was spirit then for me. And always had an inkling that I wanted to go and work with spirit. I didn't know what that looked like. I didn't know what I was even talking about, but I was always so keen. My mum would go off to see a sidekick, or she'd see a medium, or I'd want to go and join this church group, or I'd want to see what this group was doing. But it all centered around spirituality. And then as you get older, like you say, you lose that, and then I was taking on a lot of mannerisms of what my father was. I felt to get his love, I had to be big and tough and strong, and that would then get the respect from my dad, which it never did. And all of a sudden I'm just going around in circles here. I'm just not achieving anything. I'm just not moving forward, and it doesn't feel right. So I then decided to do some traveling, and I ended up in Australia, and from there on, the spirituality side started in a big way for me. I was working. I got a call from somebody I was working with, and she'd been to see a medium, and the medium had actually brought forward or through my grandfather, who was my best friend. So of course I jumped straight on that. I went to see this medium, and sure enough, my grandfather came through, and that's when she told me I would go and do mediumship. And I was like, no, never going to do that in a million years. I don't actually really believe in it. I don't want to be telling people they're going on a holiday or they're going to get a blue card. There's more to life than that. And surely it started to evolve, and before I knew it and I was sat reading people, I was sat bringing spirit through from them. And again, always knew there was something more to that, because, life's a lot more than asking about when am I going to get a new car or when am I going on holiday. And I didn't really vibe with that, but it was a training ground for me now that I look back on. And I actually did, I don't know if you know, but I about plant medicine. I went down to do a plant medicine journey about 4 years ago in Costa Rica. And that's when really I was just broken open like an egg. That's when it all really started for me. And then I really understood that, like you just said earlier, we are all one. We're all conscious of love. You know, we're all light beings coming down here to explore what we've chosen to explore. Because if we come from a place of love, you know, we want to explore what, you know, hurt means, what jealousy means, what anger means, you know, and hence why we come down to this playground. And within these journeys, I've been given so many tools, you know, like I say, now the healing work that when people come and see me, I do hands-on healing, and it's just surreal what happens in those sessions, you know. So that's kind of been my journey as I've progressed, and I've just basically jumped on the roller coaster now and just been taken. I just completely trust the universe. I completely trust where I'm going to be taken today. I don't try and put anything to it, you know, and I'm always looked after, you know, and I just get out of the way for the best part, because the minute that I come in to try and control anything of my life, things become difficult, you know, things become hard because I'm pushing against the natural flow. So the minute I come in and, you know, like you messaging me, if I'd have pushed against you and said, you know what, I don't want to do that this week, I don't want to do that now, I'm pushing against it, you know. You came through the universe to me for us to connect, you know. So again, it's just being open, willing, trusting, and going with the flow. And it's never, and never will, let me down, you down, or anybody down when we do that.
I love that.
So that's a very very condensed version of 42 years, you know, in about 5 minutes.
That's awesome. And for you guys out there, I highly recommend, if you weren't present through James's journey, because there were so many nuggets that were intertwined in there. I'm going to point out a few because they're just, I see a lot of parallels in my journey, which you just described, James. But if you guys weren't present to that, I highly recommend rewinding and just listening to that, because there's going to be some things that we talk about now that just beneficial. It's just a really great example. And starting with, like, a big part of my journey, James, before spirituality came into my life, I was always trying to manipulate the external world, you know, as far as whether it's like results in this area of life so that I could feel happy. It was always, I'll be happy when I can have these things. There was no focus on the internal. So that caused lots of internal unhappiness, you know, throughout a lot of the journey until, you know, I had a mentor that, you know, pointed my attention to the first Law of Attraction book that I ever read, and then really the first book of any kind of by choice that I read. And what that did more than anything, it was awesome, like the information itself, but more than anything, it opened me up to like the possibility of there's more going on than I could ever know. And from that point on, I could say I've been open for new awareness, new consciousness from that point on. This was 12 years ago. So it's just been a 12-year evolution, and obviously I'm 37, so it's been a 37-year evolution. But when we look back, so that's the first thing. And then I didn't know that, maybe I saw it on your Instagram page, but I didn't know specifically that you did mediumship. And I love whenever I speak to mediums, because I actually invited a couple that I think I might be speaking with in the next couple of weeks. Because the piece that I got when I truly knew like that this physical avatar named Noel and yours named James and whoever you're named out there is just the temporary, like, you know, spacesuit for the energy that is, you know, really who we truly are. And then when it's our time to leave this avatar, like that energy will continue to exist, continue to be eternally. Yeah. I was like, whoa, so it didn't really matter to me because I grew up in, you know, organized religion, and I didn't resonate so much with, you know, what I learned as far as what happened after death. It's either like you go here to this like awesome place, and you go here to this like fiery burning place. That didn't resonate with me so much. But once I like tuned into, as long as my energy is going to continue to be, whether I come back and play again here in the Earth dimension or another dimension that I don't even know about or whatever it is, I'm just happy that I'm still going to be. So that gave me all the peace that I need. And I always tell people, if you ever want proof of that, there's people on this planet that they're very passionate about connecting people with those that have left these avatars and allowing you to see that you can connect with them too. And that's what you're doing. I think that can give people so much peace, because that's really the biggest fear for most. And if we don't fear that, we can kind of enjoy ourselves a little more here while we're alive.
It takes the shackles off your feet. You know, it takes everything away that that we think we know, because at the end of the day, society tells us we must act a certain way, we must be doing this to achieve that certain way, and it's just utter nonsense. It's just nonsense. If we get out of the way and understand we are not in control, and understand that it's all divinely planned, it's all comes in at magical divine timing, it's beautiful. It really is heaven on earth. I looked at so many people, and they miss they miss the birds flying in the sky, they miss the wind rustling through the trees, because they're all so focused on trying to achieve something that they've got told that they must achieve at a certain time, or they become a failure. And it really, really upsets me to see that. So I see that being a big part of my work going forward, is to try and unlock as many chains as possible, to go, you are free. You are free to make this decision. You are free to step in this beautiful life. And the only difference between me and them is that I believe it and they don't. We're all the same. You are me and I am you, like you say. And it's beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful, and I can't get enough of it. So if we can, as you say, help us to help people do that, then magical.
Absolutely, absolutely. And you mentioned a few times, and this is also big awareness over my years when it comes to control and versus just allowing the universe to show us what synchronicity is in store for us next. And I love to remind people that life is just one ongoing synchronicity. Like, we can't predict any of this stuff that's happening, and we try. And what happens when we try? Typically, we're trying to figure out how it's going to all work out, when it's going to work out, who it's going to be. If you want a relationship out there, and what does that cause? Anxiety, like depression. Like, it just doesn't feel so good because we can never figure it out. Like, it's just not our work, because nothing that we physically manifested that we were like, oh, I knew I was going to go there and meet that person. I knew they were going to introduce me to this person that was going to suggest this book. And then all of a sudden, like, how does that? It just, so once I kind of realized, wait, I can never figure any of this stuff out. Then it just became about, let me get back into the only thing that I can control is what version of Noel am I going to bring to right now, this moment. And then, depending on that version that I bring to this moment, the synchronicities that come to me, which, again, on one ongoing synchronicity, they're more in alignment with the ones that I actually like. Like, they're actually cool ideas, people, circumstances. So that's what I realized.
and you feel good. Everything feels beautiful, and you're not fighting or pushing against anything. So yeah, it's beautiful, man. Absolutely fantastic.
Absolutely. So I always love to, and you've already been describing this, but it's fun to hear this, because anytime that we have a conversation with someone, all of us have lived the life that we've lived up until now, and this is why all of us know, what we like, what we don't like, and what our desires are, what we want to see for our lives, for humanity. If you guys are thinking, that way as well. And so if I ask you this question as far as what your vision is for your life and then for humanity, which you've already been explaining, which is unlock more chains and all of these things, that the interesting thing for all of us, if I ask James that 6 months from now, that will still be present, and then there'll be additional things that have evolved because he's going to live 6 months more of life. Not promised to any of us, but all of us listening to this podcast will live to a couple hundred years, I'm sure.
Absolutely. Look, absolutely. And again, where I was 6 months ago to where I am today, I look in amazement. I go, my word, how has it got from there to there? And I'll be doing the same thing in another 6 months. I'm going, my word, I've gone from there to there. And that doesn't mean to say I'm not going to go through challenges. That doesn't mean to say that I'm not going to go through some, what we would say, hardships. Look, the universe loves to give us some curveballs. We get our biggest learnings when we go through the harder times, and I've definitely had my fair share, but I view them the same. The good is as good as the bad, and the bad is as good as the good, because it's just an adventure. It's just our journey, and we don't take it seriously. This is our playground. This is where we can experience. And if we're coming in with that view, then it all becomes one big game, because it's just one big illusion. It really is. And we've got to, again, coming back to that letting go of what we get told that what we should be doing, because that's where we find our anxiety, that's where we find the depression, that's where we find health problems, and we've just had the biggest wake-up call. All 7 billion plus of us have just had the biggest wake-up call ever. And And if that wasn't the universe, forget about all the nonsense about conspiracies and all that kind of stuff. I don't buy into that. You know, the universe comes in and goes, right, slow it down, stop. The entire world stops, basically, stops. You know, and people are outside. I know in Perth, people were outside walking, people were talking, you know, people were, you know, communing in nature, because that's our playground, that's our mother, you know, and it was just so beautiful to see that, you know, and as things have become unlocked again, we've gone straight back into the same modality, and we're all rushing around, and we're all trying to find that next dollar, and we're all trying to get in front of what, you know, try and get in front of one of the, in front of the other person, which is just, it's not who we are, you know, it's not who we are. So, you know, the answer to your question is what I want to do is to try and, you know, show people that we can love people, that we can love everybody and still be happy. You know, we don't have to get in front of, you know, I don't have to get in front of you, Noel, and go, you know what, I managed to get on Oprah, but you didn't, so I must be better than you. I don't care. Yeah. I'm just doing my journey. I'm just staying in my lane, doing what I've chosen to do. Now, if you got on Oprah, I would be the first person in the world to say, you know what, high five, brother, awesome. You've managed to spread the word to millions now. And that's so fantastic because, again, we should be pushing each other along, not trying to knock each other off the track, you know. There's no competition. You know, we're just helping each other. So that's what I suppose, if my vision for humanity, that would be my vision, would be that we are one, that we are love, and that you can love anybody from anywhere, you know?
I love it. You just inspired me so much, James. And what you mentioned when it comes to, like, we take life so serious. Like, and I used to be the same way. And I even love that you mentioned, like, none of us are immune to challenges, because, like, that's a part of it. Like, our souls came here to evolve, and, you know, in this, you know, physical playground where we can, you know, touch things and smell things and feel things, and, you know, and all these things. So this is what allows us to evolve when you have some challenges and it's like, ooh, that doesn't feel so good, you know. And then now we're focusing our attention and energy on what it is that we would like to see, you know, if we're conscious enough or aware enough to do it, which will allow us to manifest whatever it is that we would like. But I don't, just knowing that once I unlock the fact that we're eternal, I don't take life that serious. But at the same time, I'm asking, how much fun can I have with all the 7.7 billion humans while I'm here? Because if you out there, you know, James, and all of the rest of you out there, if you get excited about something that you want to see expand, because, you know, in addition to coming here for our souls to evolve, like, we're expanding all it is. Like, we're living an expanding universe. Like, we're always expanding. So, you know, any idea that you have out there that you start to put in motion and put energy into, you're adding to all that is. And so for any of you out there, because you've had different life experience, when you get excited to go create something, whether it's a new technology or a new experience or food or whatever it is, me, James, and all of us get to partake and get to enjoy your creation. So if I can help you, I'm going to do everything I can, because I want to enjoy 2020 and beyond as much as James, as much as the rest of you guys.
Yeah, and what a beautiful, beautiful existence that would be, you know, to do that. And ultimately, that's what we're doing. You know, if we just take it away, that's what we do it. You know, but what I say to you now may unlock something within you. What you're saying to me is unlocking something within me, and that helps us grow and that helps us evolve. Now that might pass on to another person, and that becomes 10 people, and that becomes 20 people. But again, if we come back to the beginning and we trust completely what the universe is, it's doing the work because it's all divinely timed. You know, so what you're saying to me now is something like, oh, yeah, you know what, that was a really good point. I was meant to hear it right now at this age, in this moment, you know, for me again to take this in and that knowledge in to go forward again, you know. So it's beautiful, man. And it sounds like your journey's been absolutely fantastic. You know, it really does.
What you said is such a good reminder as far as, and my journey, the reason why I'm the way I am today, James, and I think a lot of us could, I think we can all resonate with this, is like, there was a time in my life where, like, literally what I would say my greatest weakness was the I'll be happy when syndrome. I was just so not in the present moment. And, you know, what I thought my life was going to look like, I thought I was going to be a professional athlete, hurt myself at 21. So my, like, childhood dream went out the window. So at that point, I was just really I was lost, and I didn't have any of this awareness. But once, you know, realizing, you know, someone to become aware of these things and just getting my attention in the present and just wanting to enjoy the now, practice, because everything is like a practice. If it matters to us, we'll practice it, and if we practice it, we're going to evolve in that area. So now that's become what I enjoy the most is just saying how much fun can I have in this moment. You mentioned it a few times, like in this episode when I'm out in nature, I'm out anywhere. If I see a bird that's awesome, I'm like, whoa, look at that! Like I'm like a little kid. Like I want to see what's going on, and that's if for no other reason.
If I got a tail on you'd see my tail.
For sure, me too. 100%, 100%. And so I'm just always like open to any like reason to feel even better, like in this moment, because why not? So conversations like these, I know it's just I've set up a platform so we could just enjoy a conversation, and then like you just mentioned a second ago, like we're all at different places in our journey. So whatever you're meant to hear, listen to this right now, like it's perfect timing for you. And then if you choose to listen to this again down the road, there'll probably be something else. You're like, oh, I don't remember them saying that. Like, and then it's perfect for you.
Yeah, and it's not for us to, and it's not for us to place any value on that. It's just for us to express what we're expressing now and move on to the next helping soul that we can help, and just leave it where it is, But going back to what I've seen, what you do as well, with the manifesting, we're all powerful manifestors, and it's one of my big things as well. But we've also got to be very careful, because if we put the negative energy into manifesting, we also get that back too, right? So the universe is an all-giving universe. So if we come in with that positivity and we come in with I want to achieve this, or I want to manifest this, and you put your soul and you feel it, you're going to do that. But you're also, if you come with an attitude of, I don't feel well, I'm not good enough, well, the universe says, okay, well, try that one again, and you end up continually on the mouse wheel. So that's what I looked when I looked at your page, is that really showing people how to really manifest correctly, because it's so important, because you can definitely go the other way on that one as well, very quickly.
Absolutely. James, I look at life as just a movie, and we're all the star of our movie, and we get to co-star with all 7.7 billion humans at various times. And maybe we might not all be in the movie together at one time, in this life, but the ones that do come into our life and play on the screen, the most important, part of the movie for all of us is, again, what version of you are you bringing to this scene here and now? Are you going to bring the peaceful version of you, the happy version of you, the loving version of you? Or, not saying there's anything wrong with it, are you going to bring the frustrated, anxious, depressed, angry, rageful version of you? And if you do choose to bring that version, just what is that scene going to look like? I've never heard anybody leave the house, James, and just they woke up on the, quote unquote, wrong side of the bed. We've all done it where we haven't felt so good, and we chose not to be grateful when we first wake up. We chose to be anxious about something, and just, again, it's a choice. And then we leave the house and we're not in such a good mood, and maybe we, encounter some traffic or some incidents that maybe we aren't enjoying so much, and then maybe we take it out on our friends or family or our coworkers, and now we have an argument or something, and then you get home at the end of the day. I've never heard someone that spent their whole day like that say, this was just the best day. Like this, my scene in today was just awesome. It was a very challenging day for you. It was a dramatic day, and that drama could be, unlimited. Hopefully the drama didn't take you off the edge of a cliff, because then you leave this physical avatar and, it is what it is. You'll still continue to be, but not in this physical form anymore. So I just look at it as a movie. It's like, what do I want this scene to look like? And even if I'm just, you mentioned my Instagram, and I appreciate, you pointed it out, and you've recognized the light on my page, because that's what's reflecting from you. So we're just mirroring, and that, which is awesome. That's why immediately first thing I said to James is, first I want to tell you I appreciate you, brother, and the light you're sharing with humanity, because like I'm just seeing it, like it's awesome. So it doesn't matter to me necessarily if this movie scene is just like the most extravagant scene where I'm doing all these extravagant things. I could just be taking a run or going for a walk, and again, if I'm recording a video, like you guys will see me like point my attention on this tree right here or this person or whatever. It's whatever it is, but I just want to bring a happy version to this scene if I can.
And it's a good point. A lot of people think that I wander through life smiling all day long. I don't. I really don't. I get pulled out of my alignment daily. And it's just a habit to try and get back into that, and sometimes I wake up out of, like you just said, the wrong side of the bed. You can feel that you're in that grumpy mood, and I just do little things like I'll say to myself when I'm in the shower, just brushing my teeth, I'll be going, I am loving awareness, I am loving awareness, I am love, because those words then resonate with who I naturally am. So it then starts to pull me out. If I'm still feeling like I'm grumpy, well, then I have to go to nature. I go for my walk, and then that always pulls me out. The minute that I'm seeing birds, or the minute I'm seeing the river, or I'm just seeing it all in, flowers or whatever, I go, I'm blessed. I'm so blessed to be here today. I'm so blessed that I get to spend another day down here, because we never know when we're about to be called back home. We just don't know. We've not been given any indication of that, really. So that's how I tend to do that. So it's an interesting point. I think people sometimes think that we go through life smiling and life's beautiful and you've no worries. Yeah, I still have all those things. I really do. I just choose not to put any attention to them. And when I do, I need to get myself out of them quickly. And that's the kind of habits that or affirmations, should I say, that I would use.
I love that, James. It's a great reminder out there. Like, just notice how James hasn't. I just highly recommend we all have those things that we know we can turn to when we're just not feeling so good. And again, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with experiencing life not feeling good, because it's part of the human experience. It's actually all the challenges in our life have served us, because we wouldn't have the desires we have without all the challenges. At the same
Yeah,
time, if you are aware and if it matters to you what your mood is, like what version of you you're bringing to this moment, then you'll start to also become aware of things like James just mentioned, like affirmations and things like going out in nature, which are two things for me that are super beneficial. Or there's so many
yeah,
ways, and it's just important for you guys to know out there what helps you maybe just feel a little better or take your attention. Sometimes is all you really need to do off of whatever is worrying you right now, because
that's
it's unlikely that you're going to have the solution come to you from that energy of worry about it. It's very unlikely that the answer is
yeah,
going to come right there. So a great
yeah.
idea is to just think about anything else on the planet, all trillions of subjects that we have to choose from. And then when you're feeling a little bit better, you've got a little bit more peace and calm, then maybe return to that subject, and you'll probably have a different point of view, which the answer can come with that different point of view.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah.
It's just going easy with ourselves. We don't have to know the answer. We don't.
Absolutely, absolutely. I always love to ask this because you've been doing it the whole time, so you could say refer back to the rest of the episode. But knowing that somebody could tune into this, 30 years from now, 40 years from now, the internet's going to be here for a while. Just anything that you find yourself, sharing with your audience or the people that you're working with, that you feel will be beneficial. That anytime someone comes across this episode, it could be any subject, anything in life that you feel will be beneficial.
Yeah, listen. What one for me at the moment is relationships. I think it's a very important one, and I think it's we all love to be in a relationship. I think we all want that companionship, and what I've seen over it's been a big thing over the last 12 months or so is that when we get into a relationship, we find each other because we like that person for who they are. So if I'm in a relationship with you, I like what you do, and you like what I do, and we've come together. And I think what I've seen and what happens with relationships is that we tend to come in, and then one tends to overpower the other one, and then change the other one, and then one becomes unhappy within the relationship. And before you know it, you're living in this topsy-turvy, toxic relationship where neither one of them are actually moving forward, and not walking their true path. For me, relationships should be very much that we're still very much individual souls. This is a journey of self. It really is. Whether you're married, engaged, girlfriend, boyfriend, whatever it may be, you are still on a journey of self. And we have to recognize that. And when we do come into that union of a relationship, it should be that we're holding each other's hands, helping each other and supporting each other by who that person is. And I think it's a very big thing, because we tend to change people when we come together. You didn't do this right, you didn't do that right, you should do this, you should do that. And then we start to lose track of actually our purpose while we're down here, what actually makes us happy. So that's a big thing for me right now at the moment. What I've seen is making sure that if you are in a relationship, it's solid and it's done with the utmost respect for one another's journeys and helping and supporting them journeys, because my journey is a lot different to my wife's journey. It really is, completely is. I'm doing my thing, and she supports me doing what my thing is, and I support doing what she needs to go and do. And that's a true relationship where it's unconditional. You know, that love is unconditional. There's no rocks that bounds each other into that of like, you can't do that, because who am I to say to someone else you can't do that? It's nothing to do with me. So again, that would be one of my big things, hopefully in 30 years' time, if somebody tunes into that, is to just look at your relationship and make sure that you're both honouring and respecting each other for the individual that you are.
I love that you brought this topic up, James. It's my favorite part of life, as you can imagine, human connection. And it's just fun for sharing a planet with 7.7 billion people, because you can have, intimate relationships, you can have business partnerships, you can have, there's just so many friendships and, family relationships. There's so many different, variables when it comes to relationship. But I want to remind us all, and James just hinted at this beautifully, instead of, I see so many people that are trying to change the person in front of them into what they would want them to be, what they'd have them be, versus the true power that we have, and the much easier route is getting clear on what's important to you, in life, like how your life is evolving, like James just mentioned, the journey of self. Like, what if it's an intimate relationship? Like, what is it that is important to you? Like, what is it that you want to be clear, and then project that as far as like, oh, I'm really excited because you're single out there, or, not in one, or even if you have one, it's like just being clear on that, and then you can attract to you the person that wants to, that also resonates with, what it is that you're resonating with. It doesn't have to be, okay, this is what I'm clear on, so anybody that's with me, I have to turn them into that, and it doesn't work that way. They have their own journey that they're on. And so, it's so important. Yeah. And then secondly, you guys out there, I just want you to know, because I've seen this so many times in life, this is my actual favorite part of, just the human connection, is knowing that any time, if you do leave the house, or even if you're online and you just decide that today is going to be you're going to be in a good mood. You're just going to be, just see what the adventure of life will bring. You can have you can have people show up in your life experience, co-stars, at any time. It just can come out of nowhere. Like I've had some experiences recently. Literally met a human being that has turned into like one of my favorite experiences here in 2020. And I didn't even know that they existed 3 days ago. And then all of a sudden, like, we're just in the same place at the same time, both realizing that it was the last day that the beach was open, and then because they shut it for our holiday, which was Saturday, and they closed it for like 4 days because they knew there would be thousands of people that came to the beach if they didn't. Just two people that were appreciating nature and being out, and just the last few hours being at the beach and just being in the same place, had a great conversation, and now a human being that could be in my life for a while. And I'm like, whoa, I didn't even know you existed 20 minutes ago.
Magical, absolutely magical, and angels, just arriving at that perfect time and that perfect moment. Listen, we can't pick that. You can't pick that. It just happened, and why did it happen? Because the universe wanted it to happen at that particular time. It just sings to my heart every time when I hear that kind of stuff, because it's just so beautiful, man. So beautiful.
Absolutely. I joke with people, and because it's fun to be mesmerized by the synchronicities. Like, wow, like I like to say, the universe is so obvious. Like when the universe wants you to connect with someone, it's just like, if you didn't see this sign, how about this one? Like, it's just obvious.
That's right. And if you don't see this one, it's right in front of you, sat on your knee. But it's always coming, because it's always meant to come. And I think I put a post up actually yesterday. It's just, I call it the dance and the wonder. It's beautiful. It's the dance of life and just the wonder of what it's all about. And if we just sit back and we just watch it unfold, it's like you say, it's our movie. It's just a movie screen. Get your popcorn, sit down and enjoy it. Watch your life. It's beautiful. And before you know it, you'll be back up, spinning down again, enjoying another period of what you've chosen to do. And that's, if you look at it like that, it just becomes easier, to navigate through, rather than making it more difficult than it needs to be.
Absolutely. I appreciate this conversation so much, James, and the fact that we don't have to script out the entire movie of life. That, to me, that would be stressful. Like, if I had to script everything that I just described, as far as synchronicities and all that stuff, if that was my work, I'm not signing up for that. Like, I respect the Hollywood screenwriters they can do all that, the plot but that's just one movie that lasts a couple hours. Like, to script the movie of life, I want no part of that. Thank you, universe, for that.
Exactly. Listen, the best director I know that I've ever come across is that guy up there, or woman up there, or Source, or whatever we want to call. You know, that's the best director by a mile. You know, because it's all beautifully done for us individually. You know, it's beautiful.
Absolutely. Anything you want the audience to know that you have going on that they can participate in, or anything like that?
I would definitely say, listen, keep an eye on me and you working together. I think I can definitely feel that energy with me and you as we step forward, which again is beautiful. We didn't know each other until 5 days ago, and now it feels like I have a new brother in my life, which is so amazing. So, you know, yeah, for that, I'm very grateful to have met you. High Vibe Tribe is definitely going to be. A very much my passion. I'm very, very keen to follow the universe's guide on how iVibe Tribe takes off and the lines it goes down. So please feel free to give it some love at iVibe Tribe Official on Instagram and iVibetribe.com on the web. And we're just taking it slowly at the moment, but there's going to be, you know, things a little bit like T-shirts like this that we're designing, just so, again, just getting that consciousness out there as much as we possibly can. So, you know, that's definitely big for me, and I always give a follow to my personal page for, you know, what I call is, people always say to me, "Oh, you're so inspirational, you're so positive." It's just me talking to me.
Right.
I'm just basically trying to get myself going for the day, and it's what I need to know, so it's what I just share. You know, so it comes from my heart, and that's me talking to myself, and that's how I post. So if that resonates with anybody, well, then that's beautiful, you know, and it's my pleasure and my honor to be of service to anybody that wants to message me or see me, or, you know, anything. You know, I'm always open.
I love that. I feel the same about you, and I appreciate you affirming that. I feel like I have a new brother there across the pond,
Yeah,
across the water
way.
there. Definitely additional co-creations for sure. And
I can see that.
you guys definitely follow James, and I feel the same way. Like whenever I'm sharing a video, it's like it's something that was just a reminder to me, and I'm like, I can't keep this to myself. So I go out and do a video, and it's always like, literally, I just have the awareness that I'm sharing in the video like 10 minutes prior. So I'm just
Yeah.
keeping people updated on what I'm discovering, because it just wouldn't feel right to just keep it only to me.
You know, and thanks for the chat. I really loved it. You know, we didn't script a thing of it. We just went with the flow, and that was what the universe wanted us to talk about today. You know, so I love that kind of work as well. So thank you for having me on your show, and thank you for introducing me to your tribe. It's much appreciated.
Absolutely, yeah. Appreciate you, James, and you guys definitely follow James, and you know, just get in the habit of taking, you know, inspired action from any type of, you know, curiosity that you have. Like, oh, this James human is awesome. Let me go discover. Like, these curiosities lead to awareness, which lead to additional synchronicity, and it's just awesome. I love living life that way. Like, it's an adventure. It just makes it way more fun. So we talked about that throughout.
Of course it does. Yeah, it's beautiful.
All right, you guys have a beautiful day. Share this episode; it'll be valuable for people to hear. And if you're watching this live right now on Facebook, hit the share button. It'll be very valuable for someone out there. And thank you guys that have been reviewing the podcast. Leave a review and say that James Human out in Australia is awesome, and I learned this, and this, or have this awareness, and I'll screenshot it and make sure he sees that. And you guys have a beautiful day whenever you hear this. We'll talk to you soon. Awesome. Let me stop the stream, and I'll say bye to you, brother. Let me stop the stream.